Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this weekend? I hope you and your assorted fur babies survived the weekend. And welcome to today's broadcast of The Long Dark. And I am now somewhat encouraged to start calling them broadcasts more frequently than usual, because I've done some reviewing of my past history, and it turns out TV viewership has often been a substantial number of my views, which is interesting because TV viewership is actually quite a separate demographic. And good morning, Danny. How are you doing? And hello, Peanut, Lola, and Earl. I hope you are all behaving yourselves and not treating your minion inappropriately. So, where are we? Well, the last two live streams of The Long Dark. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I hope it's only kinda injured, as in, ouch, that hurts, rather than I need to go to the emergency room. So where were we? Here is the recap. This is traditional, by the way, in case anybody wonders. The last two live streams... Oh, I'm glad it's only bruising and muscle strain. That's recoverable. Especially for young people. Or younger people. The last two live streams were... actually slightly unexpected. I wish I could predict that the same was going to happen today, but I can't. On Thursday, at least I think it was Thursday, we had that moment of 8 wolves on the ice. That was interesting. And on Friday, we had 3 around my base at the Quonset Hut, which is not entirely normal, but not completely unexpected. But more remarkably, the Quonset Hut moose, whose name I now forget, showed up and was successfully hunted without my getting trampled. So if nothing else, I've got a lot of food and a moose hide, and the moose hide is very useful. What I need today is a decent trading opportunity, and so we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. So let's see what happens. Well, what time of day is it? It is morning. Okay, that means we're going to have to wait a while for an opportunity to do anything interesting. And there's my fresh moose hide. And we will just have a quick check of our wolves. I have a lot of wolf skins. Oh, that reminds me, I need rabbit skins. And yes, I do have a lot of guts. Guts is no longer an issue. And that's a nope. That is a nope, nope, nopety nope. Here is my raw meat pile. As you can see, it is now utterly dominated by moose. And there's the wolves that... Oh, I didn't get the hide. Oh, right. I thought for some reason I'd gotten the hides off those, so now I really, really want this weather to improve. More hide and gut is never a thing to turn your nose up at. What is my current situation? I have fish. I have water. I have more water. And now is a good time to actually see if I need to fix anything. Right. I did lose a couple of arrows hunting the moose, unfortunately, which is not a circumstance that greatly pleases me. I would have preferred greatly if that had not happened. Oh, well, let's make some arrow shafts. Clearly when I tell your furry companions to be reasonable, they aren't paying any attention. Okay, that's a good start. Which one of them is being most demanding? Okay, this is a little better. What have I got? I need sticks. I do need sticks. At least I can be moderately assured. What I'm going to do is, just in case, there is a bear in this general region. I don't want to incur his curiosity any more than I absolutely have to. Oh, hello, Azrael. This is your first time on stream. Lola, of course, is an established part of the community. Ah, nice to know that feline pragmatism wins out. Do you know what I should have done? I should have put some of my moose on the fire while I do this. I completely forgot. I got focused on doing things to wolves. Yeah. Do you remember, Danny, how I was speculating in the past about fake views when my viewership spiked? It turns out that that's not necessarily the case. It's TV viewership again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. Even my, I won't say semi-legendary, but you know what I mean, 655 views, that was, it seems, driven by TV viewership, which I didn't appreciate. Silly me. Oh dear, Earl. And I might as well continue cooking. So I have been grossly misinterpreting my data. That sounds more like blackmail. Oh, yes. I mean, if you consider this, in the last 2 live streams, that's 11 wolves and a moose. It's almost a comfortable situation to be in. Good morning, Eugene. How are you doing? We've harvested wolves and we are cooking outside. Ah, this is almost cozy. How was your weekend, Eugene? So we are hoping for an aurora tonight.
The sun's setting. It's gonna get a lot colder soon.
The quote is not necessarily one I completely agree with. From what I understand, Plato's understanding of courage isn't necessarily what I would agree with, but he certainly got a point sometimes. He is absolutely right. Yeah, the quote was inspired by the moose hunt, to be honest. Oh no, absolutely. Yes. But I think a lot of people might agree that
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
if you know, yeah, if you can differentiate between things you should and shouldn't fear, that's always a good thing. That was fairly remarkable. Thank you for the free plug there.
Something's gotta go.
I was just saying, 11 wolves in 2 live streams. I didn't lose any arrows from that, but I did lose a couple of arrows from the moose. Could have used the pot. If I get very, very, very lucky, I might be able... It's not looking promising for a Aurora tonight. Of course it's not. The game is probably looking at me and saying, we are not going to be kind. That might be an excessive amount of wood. Ooh, that does remind me. I need to make some snares, really, for the wabbits. Let's just eat the last scrap that was hanging around collecting lint in my pocket. Alright, let's see if we do get extremely lucky and get a late night Aurora. No. Well, don't think any. Oh, this is getting along there. Yes, I don't exactly have a pile of guts so much as a gut slick. Ugh. And he's just walking. He's walking straight over them. I'm so glad they don't give squishy noises when you do that. I'm actually going to grab that lot and shove it in. Oh, it's a nice day. How pleasant. Let's see what our situation is. Oh, it's not even that cold. I might go and plant. Let's grab some snares. Yes. This, after 172 days in the game, in this run, this is the first time, arguably the first opportunity I have had to actually make snares. And I do need rabbits. And I do have things that need fixing. Ooh. Yeah, that's probably the reason why my temperature is down. Well, oh, bother. Ah, drat. This is not conducive. I think I will probably go anyway. I am intending getting matches at the next opportunity, even if I have to cheese the game to do it. Oh, it could clear up. technically, I also need deer skins. Oh, it is clearing up. And honestly, if the game is being reasonable with me, there really shouldn't be any wolves around here. But if the game was being reasonable with me... that's true. Yes. Well, now I'm a little jittery. Although that could just be the coffee. But, given that the, circumstances of that incident were due to game glitchiness. To be honest, if it had been clear, I might not have bothered with a torch, because I could then clearly see what's going on. But yeah. And just in case anybody is watching and is not precisely familiar with my circumstance, and you're wondering why I am blithely heading into wolf territory, bear territory, the reason is this bear should be dead for a while. Of course, if it's not, then you get to see me have a minor panic attack on camera. Although, in fairness, my idea of a mild panic attack is me saying something like, "Oops." First one placed in the game. Well, I did check you, didn't I? Yes. I'm all... Well, I have encountered various ways you're supposed to put them on the ridge, clump them up together. I've placed them now. I might compromise and move them on my way back. Although... there is salt, isn't there, around this end of the island? I am highly tempted to go grab that. So my general rule of thumb is, are there little footprints? Oh, that is nice to have. I was saying I needed deer skins. I don't actually need the gut, so I will prioritize the skin. Yeah. And that's why I lit the... Well, actually, there was 2 reasons I lit the fire. One is I know there are wolves over in this region. And the second is... I don't have to unlight a torch. I actually don't want to hunt the wolf. You know, I feel like I've been enough of a burden on the wolf population already. It's also the reason I didn't pick up the gut. 1, I don't really need it. And 2, I see no reason to be any more attractive to that thing. Which sounds awfully disrespectful, with apologies to furry things. Yes. Carrying gut would not have assisted me, and I don't want... I've shot enough wolves for now. Let's give them a break. And once more, in case anybody's wondering why I am not picking up the discarded torches, is because I'll probably end up picking them up at some other time. Ah, I didn't realise I was carrying a tiny fragment. I thought I'd eaten all that. There's the wolf. There's the wolf den. No, there's the bear den. I still remember, I think it was almost the first time I came... I think it was the first time I came to Coastal Highway. I would go up and down to the misanthrope's cottage and literally come right across in front of the cave there. And I think this was before your time, Eugene, and before Dani's. And somebody commented on how brave I was being. And I said, why? And they said, there's a bear right there. Or bear den. And I think my reply to that could be characterized as, I can't remember, what was my comment to that? If somebody said something like that to me now, I would probably either say oops or wibble. Yeah, because I had no idea that there was a bear in this region. I'm not actually checking the snares because there won't be anything in them now. I'm just considering moving them per Eugene's expert testimony. Hello, rabbits. Ah. So, we are of the opinion I should put them along the ridge. Okay. Yes, and of course I eventually found out there were 2 more bears. Wow. You got this is one game where my head does get in the way a bit. I thought it was approaching nightfall. It is not. I miss the good old bad old days of umpteen hatchets along the seashore. Yeah, my default for ages was Mystery Lake, which I notoriously spent too much time inhabiting because I was terrified. Okay, fish on the way back. The silly thing is, you later realize while it is technically beginner friendly, the number of wolves that you can accrue in the immediate region of the camp office is significant. I mean, you've got the one between you and the first fishing hut. You've got one or two behind that. You've got a couple more further out on the lake, all of which assumes that the lake bear doesn't spawn in. Then between up and down the railroad, you've got, what, 2 or 3 in one direction and 2 or 3 in the other direction. So yes, it is arguably somewhat more dangerous. Where did I see that nice piece of stinky fish? Because I might as well grab it and cook it. Well, this does have the advantage that you can step out on the ice and see where everything is. And Eugene and I are in minor disagreement about the appropriate way to get onto the ice after leaving Quincy's Quonset garage. I almost get the feeling this is going to...
I need to drop something.
I'm just going to dash into the hut for a quick fish fry. Hey, look, it makes for better TV if I disagree, if we have a bit more of a fight than that. Ah! No, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to use a match. That was just silliness on my part. Everybody is now cringing at what I just did. Oh, including me. Oh yeah, we need to be heading back now. And I got a suspicion we're not going to be able to keep a torch lit. What I think I'm going to do, though... Ooh.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Well, if nothing else, that would make for entertaining watching, wouldn't it? What does Shards of Insanity do about a timber wolf pack? Probably shoot them. Oh, blast. Did my... Apparently, if I take your name in vain just once, I accidentally put out a torch that I didn't want to put out. And I probably picked a halfway decent time to start heading back. Oh, oh yes, I did actually have 15, I think I had 15 regular arrows before the moose hunt. Shot it with 2, it didn't drop, lost the arrows, started the hunt the next day. I think I shot it with 2 at that point, and then I was able to collect those 2, so I think that's about right. But I'm doing it again. This is me using muscle memory. I always head for the pier. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. You see, for once, Eugene and I are in agreement. It's not actually that bad. Mostly, I think, well, Eugene has a lot more time in the game than I do. In fact, I wouldn't have survived this long without him. I'll be honest, if it wasn't for live streaming this and people's advice, I would never have made my Voyager runs or the Stalker runs. So I owe a lot to people like Eugene and Anna and Danny and everybody who's essentially encouraged me to get out of my comfort zone. And I could probably have brought the fish back with me, but still. Where am I going to... Ah, I have a spare spot on the floor for a disc and... That's a fair statement, but... I do have, and I freely admit it, an unfair advantage in that, yeah. 81% cured, and we have 2 kilos of salt, and now I have another 2.5 kilos of salt. Which is all good. That respawns, in case anybody's wondering. Same place I got that from. Eventually will respawn. I think at one point I had enough salt accumulated I was actually able to use that for making a meat curing box rather than relying on 10 kilo bags. Let's see. There's my bear skin, and I do want that. Is that the only rabbit skin I've got? It is. It is. That is the only rabbit skin I've got. Oh yes, that definitely needs repairing. Okay, that's a little bit better. Excuse me a moment. Oh, that's funny. My attitude is more or less the other way around. I don't know what I'm doing. Please, somebody give me some advice. Oh, I thought this was going to develop. It did not. And I still have all that fish over there. Yeah, that requires far too much involvement for me. Let's see. I harvested that place over there. It's not too cold.
It's dusk, so night can't be far behind.
That was a little risky, but
Can't feel my feet.
and now you get to look at a blank screen for a minute. And I regularly comment at this point, the darkness is the game. That's the nature of the thing. Hello, Blizzard. Thank you for not disappointing me. And I remember when you didn't have this view in the game. Which must have been a nightmare for streamers. Fumbling their way around in the pitch dark, trying to find that cue which says the bed is here. In fact, I remember before somebody told me about this, the accepted trick in somewhere was to make sure your bed was right next to the door, so that as you walked in through the door, you pretty much tripped over the bed. That was an accepted tactic for dealing with the sheer intensity of the blackness you get to experience. I have not had the opportunity to play Starfield. I don't have a. The strange thing is, I don't, and I know I've said this before, but other people may not have heard me talk about this. The strange thing is, I don't have as much time as you might think to play games. My primary game playing time are my live streams. Then you may think, surely not. Well, my 2 live streams take up between 5 and 6 hours of the day. This morning's preparation time for 2 live streams was 3 hours. So, fitting in some solid gaming time becomes a question of, do I need my afternoon nap? And do I have an hour to play Warframe for a bit? Alright, let's see if we can't get through the night without doing something interesting. Right, just in case, we will sleep in 3-hour batches. Because if there is an aurora, I want to know about it. I am tempted to tell the truth, and I am tempted to lie. You'd have to guess which was which. No, it's thumbnail generation. That's the thing that takes the time. Let's see. I'm still thinking about doing a live stream or a video on thumbnail generation, just to do something completely different. What am I doing? I know I had this. Oh, yes, I remember. No, the real truth is it takes me a couple of hours to get my hair sorted. The beard is mostly self-arranging. Ah, come on, give me an aurora, please. It's still not technically impossible that an aurora will happen. Just, oh, and I fed and watered myself in the wrong order, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, we are not getting... You're kidding me. Oh, you're kidding. We do have an aurora. So, come on. Right. Let's force a game save. Oh. Safe house save, sorry. So we're going to try cheesing the game.
Bargain or bail, friend. I ain't got all day. Let me go over it with
I haven't tried this. Matches. Yes. Salt. Yes. Oh, he wants... Oh, for heaven's sake. That I can do. That I can do right now. That will give me 12 matches. And I want the salt. Yes. This I can do pretty much straight off, and the salt I can pretty much do straight off. So I'm going to do that right now, because with a luck I can do that in the morning.
I'm done.
Hang on a second.
Can't say I missed you. Time to call it a day.
If I can't make 12 matches survive until the next time, but the reason I'm going to do that now is I have this and I have birch. So that's... Yes, I can actually easily do that. I could conceive... Actually, I could have done... Ah, no, I've only got 2 fur. That's the reason I only went with the 1. And I don't want to have to wait until the next occurrence of fur respawning. And because just because fur spawns when you sort of show up and there's the fur again, I have seen it where you go back to the same place expecting fur and it gives you cedar. So I'm basically saying here, I'm going to do the sure thing rather than what might be possible. So, but that actually is as good an outcome for today as I could have expected. Right, and I realise I have been going for an hour, which means now is a good time. I'm going to get up, stretch my legs, use the bathroom if necessary. I strongly urge anybody else to take this opportunity to do the same thing. I am probably going to be back in about 3 to 3.5 minutes. So I will see you all very shortly. And I'm back. Well, obviously, assuming everything's working, it looks like I'm back. One day when I'm rich and famous and I've got sponsorship deals pounding on my door, I'm going to have to find a way to put the ad in the intermission. And don't worry, I'm actually kind of joking. Was it you and me, Danny, or Danny, Eugene, and me actually had a discussion once about what kind of sponsorship deals I would accept, and the simple answer turned out to be, I can't think of anything I'd be willing to sponsor. Yeah, I know there's coal in the mine, but like I said, maybe it was I did actually have that. Maybe it was with myself. It's entirely possible I was just talking to myself. And it's different. It might have been with Anna, now that I think about it. Yeah. What would I sponsor? I have actually reached a sort of conclusion about what I might, if the circumstances were right. I might be willing to sponsor an indie game from a small developer if I liked the game. It would have to be that sort of set of circumstances, which is not likely to happen. But do you remember, Danny? Oh, grief! What was the name of that game I reviewed? I had a look at for that Brazilian indie developer. It was quite a charming little game. That's the kind of thing I might be prepared to do a sponsorship deal for. But that's an awfully specific set of circumstances. Oh, what was it? It was Kind Heart Survivors. Yes, that's the one. Oh, I ought to have a look and see what they're up to. Because it was a sort of, I think in the end, yes, right. I think in the end we concluded it was a kind of a charming game for people on tablets under the age of about 6, maybe under the age of 8. Unfortunately, it's not. I don't think it's a tablet game. They were very nice. It has to be said. When I pointed out that some issues with widescreen, they pretty much went away and fixed it straight off. Which I thought was quite impressive that they did that. Ah, and just like that. For half a second, I thought the dogs out the back were in the game. So if you can hear barking, that's not in the game. That's the neighbors. Of course, if I really wanted to lean into the whole TV broadcast type aesthetic, and I was to structure it like an American TV show, no sooner than you had the intro and then my brief summation, then you'd pop straight into ads for 10 minutes. Then there'd be 20 minutes of me streaming, followed by another 20 minutes of ads. Not something I would ever do, but it is one of the most irritating things about American TV. With all due respect to American TV. When I first went to the United States back in 1994, was it 94? Or was it 96? Oh, yeah. Was it 94 or 96? I was 28. 94, yeah. One of the biggest bits of culture shock was the sheer number of ads on the TVs. I was slightly horrified and slightly fascinated in that way that you develop. And we are looking like it is going to be a trading day. It's too freezing right now, but it is looking like a trading day. So I need... That is acceptable quality of meat. Yes, it is. Yes, that most definitely is. Oh, no, ads every 10 minutes, that would be that would be dreadful. How can you stream a game and have 10-minute in chunks like that? That's almost that would seriously interrupt the flow of the game. You know, I am now about to shoot this moose, and here are some ads. Please buy pie. Let me start that again. please buy Pinnacle Peaches. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't go back to the States. To be honest, I'm a bit old for that. It's not that bad to visit, to be honest with you. I lived there for 16 years. So. Let's see, what am I doing? I am going to drink some water. Oh, yeah, that's a valid point. Well. Because I remember we discussed, actually, I remember we discussed what kind of games I would be prepared to do an ad for. That is me personally. And yeah, the classic one that a lot of people did or do is oh grief, what is it? Not Apex Legends. I can't remember what it is. And it's so fake. Not the game, the fact that it kicks in to someone else's live stream. What's his face? Matt Easton of Scola Gladiatoria, right? This guy does videos about swords and daggers and shields and all this kind of thing. And he'll have a 5-minute section on some mobile game that he probably got paid. That's it, Raid Shadow Legends, yeah. I mean, I can sort of see why he would do it, because the sponsorship deal from them is quite lucrative. But I can't see myself doing it. And everybody who knows me would take one look at me and say, Shard, what do you think you're doing? They would look like I had lost my tiny mind. Yeah, looks like we're going to do a run for... Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, this is actually the way the discussion went the last time I had it. We went through all the common things that people were hawking. Raid Shadow Legends, Ridge wallets, earbuds. I can't remember the name of the earbud. They still crop up, I think. VPN. I can't remember what else. Yeah, it's like no, it was concluded. No, I couldn't do any of those. I'm just waiting now for the weather to get one chevron less cold, and then we shall. I will pick up my 5 gatherables. Now this is a slight gamble. I think that counts as a gatherable. I certainly hope so, because that's all I've really got. I don't suppose he would count 5 rose hips as 5 gatherables, would he? I need... Let's see. I'm just reminding myself here. Oh, yeah. Actually, to be honest, some of those I wouldn't necessarily mind. But again, I can't see myself sponsoring it. So this is hence the discussion in my head comes down to small indie games that I actually like. Okay. any harvestable plants. Does... I tell you what, we'll experiment. If it turns out he will take 5 rose hips, I will have learned something. Let's see. And now I've forgotten what I was doing. I should stop talking about things and actually 3 kilograms of fish and a liter of water. Okay, I thought it was 2. Yep. Do you know what? Even if it had occurred to me, I wouldn't have thought that he would take 5 rose hips. I mean, that seems daft. But I'll give it a try, because that way, next time, I'll have more knowledge. And 3 kilos of not too rancid meat. I'm very tempted to just go. I'm very, very tempted to just go. That is 87%. Yeah, that's a valid point.
Too heavy.
One kilogram, 1 kilogram, 1 kilogram. 3 kilograms of meat. And I've got a free fire. I would be silly not to go right now. Oh. In which case, then I'm just going to not even experiment. I'll dump the
Come on.
birch bark.
Turned out pretty well.
I just remembered I've got to go check my traps anyway. Yeah. Mushrooms aren't plants, though. I just realized, has anybody seen how many people we have watching now? Hello, everybody. You don't know this, but you just made my day. Birch bark is a plant, and lichen's a symbiote between an algae, which is a plant, and a fungus, which isn't. I'll check on the rabbits on the way back. Okay, Eugene, that's an ew moment. I'm never going to look at birch bark in the same way. It looks like we've got at least 2 dead rabbits up there. Wasn't it here, Danny, that you got cornered under the pier by the bear?
Need to find some place to escape this cold.
Right. There we go. Oh, that is really, really fortuitous. It has to be said. Oh, I think we'll stop off at the fishing hut for lunch. I say it's fortuitous because I think the first batch of meat should be finished curing, and the moose meat is in good enough condition that if I can... it's going to be pushing my luck a bit, but I might be able to get a second batch of dried moose going. Well, dried food.
So cold. Just want to lay down for a bit.
Oh, stop complaining, Mackenzie. Please stop complaining. You're giving complainers a bad name. Do I have any tea on me? It's not actually that cold, so I can make a quick dash. Well, one rabbit is better than none. Exactly. That's... yeah. Well, it also means I'm now independent of finding decent shelter. I don't have to dash from specific place where there's food to specific place where there's food. I'll have a certain degree of freedom, obviously. This is the point at which I say something like, and now the polar bear that doesn't exist in the game suddenly rushes out and eats me. Or, oh no, 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 no. I would only do that if I ran out of cooked food. Dried meat is for traveling. That's the whole purpose for me to get it. Yeah, I sort of got what you mean though. Here's the other thing I like to think. I'm sure I wasn't the only one, but you know how during... Oh, yes. You know how during playing Wintermute, I pretty much said it felt like something from a Lovecraft story. There you go. Maybe that's the hidden thing that Hinterland hasn't revealed. Cthulhu lies somewhere over there, and if you're doing too well, it'll emerge from under the ice and drag you under. I have to be said that would be hilarious if that happened, but don't worry, everybody. That doesn't happen yet. Maybe I shouldn't say it too much. Maybe somebody from Hinterland will think, "Oh, that's a good idea. We'll give it a 1 in 1,000 chance. See how many people find out about it." I'm just going to start this anyway. That would be funny. I've actually got to come back out to get sticks. Do I have to go back out? Hang on a moment. Oh, I need to warm up. Warming up would be a good idea. Am I dropping anything off? All the ghosts in the Langston mine.
Cold is making my head feel thick.
Quick stick run. Oh, come on. Have you... I have a new theory, Eugene. If I take your name in vain over matches, that's cancelled out by you invoking the ghost in the Langston mine. Stickies. Oh. Not exactly a plethora. I think you're thinking of Minecraft. Actually, I don't know what they put in Minecraft lately. It's been a while since I played it. Well, it's been a while since I played it with a serious look at how things have changed. The funny thing is, the last time I played Minecraft, which was actually to do an experiment, I was saying they really need to have the sit mod implemented. Well, they've kind of done that. Now you can sit on cushions. And people are using cushions in all kinds of imaginative ways, including as LED screens. There's one person who supposedly has done the movie Shrek in Minecraft, essentially using, I suppose, redstone and seat cushions. Ah, fur.
Come on.
Now I'm collecting fur for what purpose? Oh, heck, it's warm here. Oh. Drat. I know I shouldn't be gathering sticks this way, but seeing as I seem to have gone through all regular sticks, and I do want them. What have I got? How long does it take to harvest this? 58 minutes. I think I might be pushing my luck with that. Nope.
I might have to drop some gear.
Yes, I know. I know. I know. As sins go, it's relatively minor. this is where the bear died. Or was it here? No, it was that one, wasn't it? I can't remember now. It's not that big of a no-no. I'm going to have to sharpen it anyway, so... And you know what I'd almost forgotten? We're going to have an aurora tonight. Yep, I could get lucky with the...
Too much stuff to carry.
Right, let's see. Yeah, I kind of recommend that. What do you mean, lucky charcoal? What am I missing there? Should be... How come I'm carrying charcoal? I never carry charcoal here. Well, almost never. I forgot about the rabbit. So, sharpen things, do unpleasant things to a rabbit. Check.
Something's gotta go.
I need to have a quick check. Oh, yes, I did, didn't I? So now we start a separate pile of travel meat. Ah, look at that. that makes traveling around so much easier. Now I don't have to worry too much about dashing back from the transfer pass. Excuse me a moment. Hang on a second. At least my phone didn't reveal my true inner geek. Because when my phone goes off, which is rare, it plays the battle theme from Final Fantasy VII. We're supposed to have an aurora tonight. You stupid weather.
I need to drop something.
Now I would immediately stuff this thing with moose, but how much? Hang on. Oh, do you know what? I might have enough. Don't need this full amount. I might be able. That should be enough for the moose. Doesn't use 10 kilograms of salt for the moose. Let's see. One. Don't worry, I'll drop all this. Okay.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
I think I've got... This is why you do what Eugene says and put the meat curing box by the front door. It's okay, by the time I've done that, I'll be here. I'll stick the 1 kilogram chunks in first.
I'm gonna have to leave something behind.
I just need 2 more bits. And that will be a really, really useful thing to have done. Yes. There we go. That makes for a very, very useful day. So that's good. We've had now we're on our second batch of dried meat. And I know Eugene and I have kind of referenced it, but you've got no idea what a relief that is. Up until now, when I've been traveling around, because it's Interloper, you don't want to be any stinkier than you can avoid. And that essentially means you dash from place to place without any food. Permit me my soliloquy, Eugene. And you can definitely do it. You can get a surprising distance without food. For example, when I returned to Coastal Highway, had to do it without food. The minor problem was, and this is what, 3 or 4 days ago? I got here and there was no food here at all, which I knew. But then you're taking your margin of error and shaving it down to a sort of razor thin margin, because now you've got to go out and kill something. And yeah, if you have the luxury of taking dried meat with you, you shouldn't attract the predators. Yes, I do know this, Eugene. But, assuming it's for the benefit of everybody else watching, yeah, dried fish is one of the better travel foods. Why am I carrying cured gut when I didn't put it away? Oops. So now we're just waiting on Sutherland. I wonder if anybody's ever made pemmican out of dried fish and rose hips. I mean, in real life. I mean, because pemmican in real life is essentially dried meat covered in, is it lard or tallow? And then you can add in, well, let me restate that. It's dried meat, very, very dried meat, ground into a powder, and then you can add into that mix various berries, and then you sort of cover the whole thing in melted fat, which then solidifies, and it's, I can't remember whether it's lard or tallow. I suspect either one would probably work. But I wonder if you could do the same thing with dried fish. I don't want to go to bed now. We're just waiting here. and I know I've said this before, but some people watching may not have heard me say this. Pemmican was a vital component in the expansion of the Western United, say of the West, of the United States, because it's calorie dense. It means you could carry more calories for less weight, and that made a huge difference to people who were depending on high calorie intake for certain types of jobs, like transporting goods. They were greatly assisted by the fact they had this very dense calorie source. Come on. Come on, radio. Don't tease me like this. Yes, there we go. Yep. Oh yeah, any time when you wanted yeah, high calorie dense food, pemmican was the way to go. Right, so in the morning, with a little bit of luck, we've got salt and more matches. And that will be nice. That will be so nice. Well, yeah, the early canned foods. Early canned foods were a huge step forward. And it's like all of these things. It was a new technology, so yeah, you could have circumstances where if the if the cans weren't properly heated for long enough, then yes, you obviously could end up in serious trouble. The other problem was that early canned foods lacked a vital component. There were no can openers. So you basically had to smash the can to get the food out. I mean, I imagine, you could use your knife and pierce the top, and then I imagine there were people who figured out a way of doing that. Does anybody actually, if you've tried using a manual can opener, not a wind, but one of those which is that little hook that you find on Swiss Army knives? I've used that. I can get that to work. I imagine if I worked at it, I could probably get a regular knife to work. But that would, yeah, the risk of hurting yourself doing that is quite high. Okay, so what are we doing? We are feeding ourselves with a bit of wolf. Let's take the opportunity to salvage some sticks. Don't remember the details of that one. I'm trying to remember. Because I know that Arctic exploration did rely on canned foods, some of them. And I'm trying to remember which one is in the back of my mind. It was the one that featured the was it the Erebus and the Terror? The ships, I mean. That wasn't Franklin, was it? Who was that? That was somebody who I forget. And I think that one of the reasons they did manage to survive was because of canned food. But I think one of the problems they might have encountered with that was lead poisoning from the canned food. But it still kept them alive. Was Franklin's expedition the Erebus and the Terror? Apparently, a small tree tipped over in the storm last night. It was leaning up against the side of the garage when I pulled up this morning. And what did I see walking around up there? A wolf. He would have had a heart attack if he'd seen what we have to live with now. Really? From the was that now I want to check. Oh. Oh, that's right, because they that was the one everybody died, didn't they? Because that was a major point of the TV series, The Terror, which was based on that specific expedition. And while the story that they tell in The Terror obviously gets into supernatural polar bears and what have you, obviously that is fanciful, but a lot of it is, I think, somewhat accurate. It certainly catches a lot of the essence of the situation they were in. Wasn't one of Nelson's early missions when he was a midshipman, I think, doing Arctic exploration? I think he got himself in trouble because he took a musket and went off to try and hunt a polar bear. Just think, if he'd been a little bit unlucky, history would be quite different. Oh, the whole history of Arctic exploration is utterly bonkers. Arguably more so than Antarctic exploration, because of course by the time Shackleton was at the time of Shackleton's expeditions, or even earlier than that, with Scott and Adamson, we're turning to the turn of the 20th century. Shackleton's expedition was during World War One, or right before World War One, I should say. So things had come a long way. But when you look at the kind of risks that Arctic explorers blithely undertook, oh yes, we'll end up getting stuck in the ice for a couple of years. I mean, I think that's slightly bonkers. which of course is why they took ships like the Erebus and the Terror, because they were bomb vessels. That is, they were warships designed to carry and fire heavy mortars, so they were very strongly built, so they were a logical choice for outfitting for Arctic expeditions, but still utterly bonkers. It makes the Lewis and Clark expedition look like a walk in the park. So that is a satchel just waiting to happen. And this is a blizzard. Just another lovely day at the beach. Oh, that's sort of amusing. I'm not sure if the word synergy is appropriate, but my last 3 live streams for Soulframe, which is a much slower, despite the name, is a much slower paced game than Warframe. I've spent the last 2.5 live streams simply walking along the beach around the entirety of the island, simply exploring. So yes, I've been walking on the beach in Soulframe, and I've been walking along the beach in the long dark. Alright, let's see. Let's take the opportunity to fix some clothes, because I guarantee I'm going to need to do that. Actually, the other thing I need to do is sharpen things up. If life gives you blizzards, sharpen your tools and fix your clothes. Yes, that is my lucky sapling. I've forgotten about that thing. I do have a lucky teddy bear. I am not dropping the teddy bear. That's my lucky teddy bear. Oh yeah, okay, let's give this a bit of a... Yes, that's actually okay. I can accept that. I can accept that as an allowable. Um, that's allowable. Right. Okay, I actually have to take a quick break, as usual. I just realized I've been going for well over 2 hours now. So, when we resume, which will be now us moving into the final part of the live stream, we will cross our fingers and hope that a quick dash to pick up our new matches and our extra salt. So I will be back in about 3.5 minutes. Right. Let's see. Hey, Tony, how you doing? Yes. Right. Let's go grab a couple of torches just in case. It's my torch supply. We have cured meat, Tony. Remember to drop my moose.
Turned out pretty well.
Yep, and even the weather's kind of in my favor. I'm getting too blasé about that. I didn't even check the temperature. It might have been 3 chevrons down and I would be heading blithely out onto the ice, not realizing what a risk I was taking. But fortunately, that's quite acceptable. And yes, I could have waited, but my memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. So once more, we are... Well, we're not technically walking along on the beach, are we? The beach is over there. I'll tell you what, if you want a slightly terrifying experience, try walking on the ice in forlorn muskeg. Because here, if the ice is about to crack, you get some warning, you can run away from it. If you try that in forlorn muskeg, you can see the cracks in the ice more or less following you, which is quite disconcerting. And the only reason I really know about that was because I recorded 101 Days to Die in the Long Dark over the weekend, and part of that, which isn't in the video, was in forlorn muskeg. I was trying to die in a blizzard. In the Long Dark version of my attempting that, I ended up safely in Broken Railroad, which I thought was hilarious. But that wasn't the goal of the video. But and now I've got to crawl back with 10 kilo.
Wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Matches. We have matches. If you haven't played Interloper, matches are this critical resource, especially early on. What's the lowest I've been on matches? I think it was 4 matches, wasn't it? Desperately trying to hope and pray for free fire days when you can use a magnifying glass. Funny thing is, if I'd known what I know now, I would have gotten 2 packets of matches. But I feel a little bit safer than previously. Of course, the question you have to ask yourself is, where does Sutherland the trader get his matches from? Oh, do you know what I completely forgot to do? I completely forgot that the secondary purpose of coming out here was to check the snares. Here's an interesting one I discovered. When I do those short or shortish videos on how to die in the long dark, I run a custom version of it, which is basically modified Interloper. So, you know, if I want to die by if I want to die by bear attack, for example, I'll disable all the wolf spawns and the moose spawns and just have high chance of bear spawn, that kind of thing. Now, I suspect there's not going to be any more rabbits here, but I'm going to put them out, put the snares out anyway. I've now completely lost track of what it was I was going to say. Somebody remind me, please. Oh yes, custom interloper. So for dying in a blizzard, I basically disabled all the predatory spawns. Made sure I started in the middle of a blizzard and then made everything else pretty much as bad as I can. I think they run out, don't they? I've certainly had situations where you don't get to snare anymore. Oh! Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, I know they respawn. Takes a few days. But, so I'm going through the options on the Interloper settings. And it has chance of revolver, enable the revolver. Which I can only assume is a mistake. But if you look at the Interloper settings, when you go through to the custom area, by default, revolver is turned on in Interloper. Oh, right. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, it doesn't matter for me in terms of the video, the 101 ways to die. You know, that's, I don't care whether there's a revolver there or not. But I did think it was interesting. You know, the Interloper settings, when you go into the custom menu, have the revolver turned on. I mean, it doesn't matter from, you know, like I say, for me, but I thought it was interesting that that was there. Once I get killed by a moose in that series, that's when things get harder to set up. Dying of hunger and dying of thirst should be easier to arrange. Freezing to death takes a surprising amount of time. It took me 20 minutes to freeze to death. And while you're freezing to death, you might be surprised just how far you can get. Like I say, I started off during one failed recording. So think about this. I recorded all in one shot, no edits. Which means I've got to get the desired result immediately. Well, not immediately, in that particular recording. So I start off in Forlorn Muskeg, in the middle of a blizzard. And I don't, not only do I not freeze to death, I managed to get out of Forlorn Muskeg in the middle of a blizzard and make my way to the maintenance depot in Broken Railroad. At which point I threw up my hands and said, right, I will film this in Sundered Pass instead. Because I don't know my way around in Sundered Pass, so yeah, I ended up freezing to death in the Sundered Pass. Misery is not, strangely speaking, a custom option. But it is profoundly useful to be able to say things like, start in the middle of a blizzard in this location. And the time of day, you know, so you can really try and set things up. That's going to be interesting. I tell you what, I will, when I'm recording these videos, I will switch over to Misery for that. Hello, dear. What you're doing is really highly ill-advised.
Starting to weigh me down.
Now, in case anybody's wondering what my next goal, once I've gotten everything repaired and so on and so forth, what my next goal is likely to be, is going to be hunting for a hacksaw, because I left my hacksaw someplace. And I don't have a hacksaw here. Oh, let's check my gut. All right. Sorry, excuse me. I'm not actually dithering. I'm just realizing, oh, I should probably eat.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
So actually, I'm trying to think. HRV? I'm still not used to to talking in acronyms in this game. Something River Valley? Ah. I'm wondering if I left one in Desolation Point. Because yeah. Okay. We're getting there with wabbits. Because that is... Yes, I think I did leave one in Desolation Point. I'm pretty certain the order of events was cut things up for use with the forge, and then I left it in the lighthouse. I think. It's certainly somewhere we can do. Yeah, I should do that. What am I doing? Oh, dropping dead rabbit. Dropping snack food. This has become almost second nature, despite the fact I know he's not going to be there. If in doubt, check for the moose over there, except that he's dead and probably will never be seen again during this run. Next available moose is in Desolation Point, of course. Oh, I actually realized I got another reason for heading to Desolation Point. I think I've got arrowheads there, and it would be nice to bring those back because I think I left them there. So at this point it sounds like heading there would be a reasonable sort of idea. The only thing is I would like to get all my clothes as fixed as possible, which means I need one more rabbit. Well, I need one of the rabbit skins to be fixed. Oh, and yes, actually, that's a very good point. Eugene makes an excellent point. I want this to be cured for the satchel. So yes, I would like to take the satchel, and I would like to get that done, because actually I need to fix the bearskin coat. I do need to fix the boots, and I need to fix the gloves, and I need to fix the improved insulation. So yeah. Actually, I need to make another. I do. That's the thing. I do. I do. I do. I have I have a spare. I have a spare hide. Which is kind of funny to say. Oh, you need a bear skin to fix the coat. Yeah, I've got one spare. We're not going to get another. No, I don't think we're going to get another Aurora. Didn't I leave the hammer there? No, probably not. I'll take it anyway. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, if I'm going there, I might as well use the forge. And now I can take food with me. Yay. That is so nice to be able to do. Might be able to make another axe. Yeah, I should be able to make another axe, actually. I need to go ptarmigan hunting as well at some point. I'm going to run out of down at this rate. I'll tell you what, just so that you're not looking at a blank screen, I will step outside. There's a little part of my brain going, I wonder, will this live stream end up with another Aurora? That would be funny. Because then I've got to decide what to do for the trade. More matches, definitely more matches. Let's see. What else have I got to do? I should. One of the things that what was I thinking? Never mind, I'll think of it again in a minute. What was I thinking? Okay, I don't really need to fix that up yet. That I should probably fix. So if I have a choice of things to fix, fixing that seems appropriate. Yeah. That needs a rabbit skin. That needs a deer skin. And I should... Let's see. I want a gut. Where's my deer skins? Don't know whether it's going to allow me to do this, but we'll give it a try anyway. It looks like it's too dark, to be honest. Yeah, no. Yes, I do, yeah. But it's too dark. So it just officially got too dark. Possible? A little bit, yes. I don't know why, but actually, to be honest with you, I really ought to continue my general policy, fix everything when it drops down to decent, which is my general policy. I'm sure there are people who will, tailor everything much more finely than I do. But yeah, when it gets down to decent, I tend to want to fix things. Alright, let's see if we get an Aurora. Yeah, that's pretty much mine. Yeah, when you get 90 is decent. 90 and below is 90 down to whatever it is, decent. $175. Good grief. I remember making that silly thumbnail when I hit 50 days. I really didn't think I would make 100 days, to be honest, let alone 150. So 175 feels like an achievement. Yeah. Oh well. We will. Oops. Hang on. I am just now idling the night away so that when we next meet, the live stream gets to start at the beginning of a brand new day. Because it is really too late in the stream for me to start anything new. Like dash out to see how many rabbits we have or whether I can find any wolves. Sheer stubbornness is arguably one of my strong points. So yes, I think I'm going to start bringing this to an end. What I will do is I will force a save. There we go. Step outside so that I can say goodbye for now. That was another successful run, in that I didn't get aggressively chewed upon by anything, and I didn't make any mistakes that led to my untimely demise. Of course, we are now going to have a blizzard. Right. I'm not even staying outside while I say goodbye for the blizzard. There's automatic sort of reaction. There's a blizzard. Dash inside now. So, yes, thank you all, everybody, for watching. It is much appreciated. If you hang around for the extra scene, which will be here in a couple of minutes, you'll see my schedule above my head, and you can listen to the long, dark music one more time. But if you have to dash off, know that I will be back tomorrow at the same time, which is 7 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. I will also be back this evening with Warframe at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Warframe also lasts about 3 hours, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, but nearly 3 hours. And I know Warframe doesn't necessarily translate well to big TV screens, but I'm actually going to try and make things a little bit calmer. No, it's 7 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. We are 8 o'clock British summertime. Yeah, that's why I say GMT. We are in BST right now. I quote all times GMT. That way nobody has to look up BST or anything like that. So I hope that means I haven't been misleading everybody this entire time, and that yeah, because GMT is 1 hour behind us. Do you know what? I'm going to double check now, because now I've gotten myself concerned. Yes, I am correct. It is 7 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time that I will be back with the Long Dark, and it will be 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time that I will be here with Warframe. And as I was saying, yes, I know Warframe doesn't translate well to TV viewing, but I'm going to try and arrange things so that it is more applicable if you wish to return then. So again, thank you very much indeed, everybody. Today was, professionally speaking, if you know what I mean, streamerly speaking. No, you didn't miss an hour this morning. You were here on time. I started at 8 a.m. British Summer Time, which is 7 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So you didn't miss an hour. Like I say, the schedule will be above my head in a couple of minutes. Now I've completely lost the plot. What was I actually saying? Okay, I've done the schedule. I've been confused by Eugene again. Bye, Danny. Bye, Peanut and Earl and Lola. Be kind to your mum. So just to recap, just to make sure everyone understands, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, schedule above my head. Yes, but I have to think about these things so that we have a consistent reference for everybody. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time with the Long Dark. And this evening at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time with Warframe, which I will try and make more TV friendly for all you TV viewers out there. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all next time.